Hello, everyone. How are you all doing today? How was that keynote?
Good to see everyone here today. It's awesome to see everybody filling in. You know, don't worry, come on in. There's still a few seats. Let's get started.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Hello, my name is Mario Rodriguez, and I'm GitHub Chief Product Officer.
Yeah, and I'm Amanda Silver. I'm the head of product for Microsoft's developer division. Welcome, everybody, to Build. We're super excited to share what we have today.
Indeed. And today is going to be live demos, so wish us luck.
All live demos. I am actually astonished at what we're going to be able to share with you. So just a few weeks ago, as we marked Microsoft's 50th anniversary, we revisited the original vision for Microsoft, which was it as a software factory. And from day one, Microsoft has really been a company that has been by and for developers. The founders believed that really software could change the world and that developers would lead the way.
You know, and we joined this industry because being a developer is kind of like being a wizard. You know, you dream up all of these ideas and you bring it to life through code. And you're always imagining, you're always pushing the boundaries of what can actually happen. And that's what excites me about being in this room with you all today.
Yeah, and by fueling innovation and really putting developers first in our strategy, the community and the ecosystem has really grown to something extraordinary. It's incredible to see how many folks use our products throughout the world. We now have over 50 million monthly active users of Visual Studio and Visual Studio Code together.
And for us, 150 million developers and the entirety of the open source community. I still remember when I joined GitHub, that number was below 100 overall, and it just kept going on and on and on.
It's awesome.
Okay, so I mean, this is our great pictures, and this kind of represents our GitHub community. You know, from Bangkok to Berlin to Nairobi to New York, GitHub meetups and hackathons are uniting developers worldwide. And these gatherings, for me, it's more than just events. It's really where the sparks happen. When I go and join them, and you join one of these hackathons, you see a bunch of makers. And makers are the ones propelling humanity forward. They create what is not there before. So every great application really starts with that single line of code and that community.
Yeah, GitHub empowers you to build that first app, and it provides you with the tools and that global community, that support, that allows you to evolve your project from really a simple idea to a scalable, globally scalable solution. But you know, we all know that as apps and systems grow more complex, coding turns to maintenance, and technical debt, it really piles up, and momentum really stalls, and the magic starts to fade. And release parties kind of turn into midnight live site incidents. And it really shouldn't have to be that way.
Yeah, indeed, indeed. And you know, this is what we did Copilot, right? We introduced Copilot back before Copilot was actually being in the conversation. It was around 2021. We were playing with a model, in fact, called Codex, which is GPT-3. And we introduced it. He has grown tremendously. You can see over here, 2022 to 23, we're now 15 million users using Copilot. And the main thing that we want to do with it is not only about building faster applications, but actually being with you every step of that software development lifecycle.
Yeah, exactly. But we all know that writing new code, it's really honestly only a small part of the job. The rest of the developer's day is packed with designing systems, digging through docs, debugging, refactoring, testing, and wrestling with legacy code.
I love this build, by the way. So back in the day, like I was saying, 2021, we introduced code completions. And the beauty of that code completions, before, you know, in that time, you had IntelliSense, and you got used to IntelliSense. But the beauty of code completion is that it could understand natural language, that you could just put a comment, and it will fill out code as well. And we have been working tirelessly to bring more and more innovation into Copilot. You can see that we introduced conversational experiences in March 2023. In November, this was the beginning of Copilot agent mode, and what we're even announced today, we introduced this research project by the GitHub Next team called Copilot Workspace. We then followed that up with multi-file edits. We followed that up with Copilot agent mode in VS Code and across other IDEs. And then today, we introduced you, if you were in Satya's keynote, we introduced Copilot Coding Agent, and we'll get to see it in action in a second.
Yeah. And, in a lot of senses, these shifts in Copilot align with how AI itself has been evolving. At first, AI really acted like a helpful companion. It offered suggestions as you worked. And then came chat and retrieval augmented generation, which unlocked a really rich conversation with an intelligent and seemingly boundless knowledge base. But now we're stepping into the next era, which is collaborative agents that work alongside you and with each other. And you can think of this as agentic DevOps. Now, agentic DevOps is kind of like adding a crew of tireless teammates to your dev squad. They can handle bug fixes, they can handle small features, they can handle documentation and more, so that you guys can all stay focused on the work that matters most to you and your organization.
Now, agents work with you to automate and optimize every phase of the lifecycle, right? As you ideate, we got these creation tools for you to actually do that with. You bring that into a prototype as well. You debug, you iterate, and you kind of put that app in production. And then that's when kind of the magic starts, right? You start that loop over and over and over again. And what we want to do at GitHub is connect that entirety of the SDLC, your creation tools, your collaboration tools, that's what we're known for, and then that app layer. We want to put an agentic system that has knowledge at the center of that, and transform that knowledge then with an omnipresent agentic layer with a command center on the top of it. So it's conversational, right? Like I should just be able to come to my phone and execute, hey, I want to create this PR. I should be able to go into my computer and then whatever idea I have in my head, create a product, requirements document and try to see if I could create a quick prototype to play with it. So that's kind of where we're going. Creation, collaboration tools, and app layer. We're unifying all of that in an agentic layer and then giving you a command center on top of it.
Yeah. And for the rest of our time today, it's going to be almost entirely demo. We're going to show you all of the phases. I am astonished, actually, at what we're going to be able to accomplish in 55 minutes or so. We're going to go from every phase, ideate, to design, to build, to deploy, to maintenance of that new app, even taking care of your tech debt and building new features. And we're calling this app Octopets. You can think of it as an Airbnb for your fur babies. And Mario is going to kick it off.
Let's do it.
Go for it.
OK. I'm going to get some water. Let me know if you see the screen. All good. So I am going to start my day here. This is github.com/copilot. And internally, we call it hyperspace. But externally, it's github.com/copilot. And it's your immersive experience on Copilot. Now, I'm in product, right? And I have lots and lots of ideas. In fact, my team is always telling me, you have way too many ideas. So calm down. We cannot implement them all. So what I want to do is maybe, we want to create this Airbnb. Maybe let's create a quick product requirements document on it. And I use Copilot to actually rubber duck with me. This is not code, but this is a PM task that we want to execute. So let's go. And I don't want you to, I'm going to take off my glasses because it's hard for me to see with this. So you can see, can you make a prototype landing page for a meetup pet-friendly locations for pet owners? Quick and simple, prefer just HTML. And I'm just going to use 4.1 for this. And Copilot is going to get right into it. You see how quick it is. And it's going to create my PRD. Now, I love PRDs. So if we just go to preview here, create it in Markdown. And I can see, here's the overview, Amanda, some of the goals. We want to attract pet owners interested in meeting up pet-friendly locations, try signups. That's always important for our app to take off. And this is great, right? Like, I could just take this and try to create a quick prototype. In fact, that's what we're probably going to do. But before I get there, I want to actually talk with a reasoning model. So I just selected 03, so just for everyone that missed that. So we went from 4.1 to 03. And then what I want to do is I'm going to ask it, create an SQA document out of this PRD plan for me to pitch to my team. Now, of course, reasoning models take a little bit longer because they reason, just like our kind of parts of our brain. Maybe that was too fast for your reasoning overall. So SDQ is kind of situation, complication, question, and answer. And I just feel like it actually helps when you're doing a pitch as a PM. It gives you a very good way of going through it. So as you can see over here, what's the situation? Like, why are we doing this? Sometimes PRDs don't get too much into that. Well, there's a large and growing population of pet owners out there. And numerous pet-friendly venues exist, but discoverability is kind of ad hoc. I agree with that. And then it goes all the way to the question and then an answer, right? So now you can use reasoning models to kind of flush out your idea a little bit better. I'm going to come back over here and choose 4.1. And then I'm going to say, can you create a quick prototype of the app? Use the first PRD. I'm a visual person, so get creative. Let's see what happens. So all these are live demos, OK? So if it works, you clap. So it's going to start creating that HTML file. And I could go into the code. You can see these things are streaming. If I go to the code, and we scroll, we're going to be able to see a stream. And then when I just go to preview again, let's see what it's doing now. Oh, it's time to create the style.css file as well. We should have probably instructed to only do one file so that we don't have to wait for the streaming of that either. But once it actually goes and completes that style.css, then we should be able, maybe it's going to create one more file. And there you go. So not that visually appealing, actually, but it did a pretty good job. This is not one of those top-level models that will create an application from scratch. So maybe sometimes what I do this, I go back into VS Code and try to create it in VS Code. Because again, I'm a visual person. I want to see something a little bit more engaging. I want to get super excited about this app. So once I finish this, I go usually over here to my PRD, and I then copy this using this little button over here, and then I go into VS Code. So let's go into VS Code right now. I already did that once for you, so because I don't want you to spend time seeing me type and Copilot responding back and streaming. So here's my PRD. You can see that it has a little bit more information, like some logos and things like that. And then I give it to Cloud Sonnet 3.7. So this is important. You have already seen what? 4.1 from OpenAI. You have already seen then 0.3, which is a reasoning model. Here's another reasoning model, but one that is really, really, really good at coding, right? So in this case, you can see that I just asked it the same question. Can you create a single-page app? I was a little bit more explicit. It's always good to be explicit with Copilot and AI. And then it went in. I did this in agent mode, so it created a single-page application. It read the folder, then started creating the file. Then it started telling me, OK, do you want to host it? Yes, I do want to host it. And you see, and this is the application I created. So let's click on it, OK? And look at that app overall. What about that? This is not bad, right? And just one shot. Like what you saw in there was reality. There wasn't two shots. It was one shot to create this application overall. I'm pretty sure if I click on something over here, it will break, and then Eric gets mad at me, so I'm not going to do that. So I think that application looks really good. Yeah. And you think we should hire a couple of developers and maybe make it,
I think it's a pretty decent pitch. What do you guys think? Should we fund this venture? Yeah.
I like how, I'll put the Venmo here later, and then you can just VC me some money in it. So we hired one developer, Eric. We hired a designer as well. We're kind of scrappy team over here, 10x in this. And we already have something that looks pretty decent. So let me just show it to you really quick. So here is my perfect pet-friendly place. And you can see why choose octopets, kind of explore the venue types. I know the team has been really working on the listings. That's really important, right? And look how beautiful that all is looking right now. So the app is looking pretty good. Now, if I go back into the backlog, I see that Eric is not alone, right? Eric has a peer that is developing with us as well. And you could kind of see it over here with Copilot. Right? So Copilot now has entered asynchronous mode. It's with you
join the team.
Exactly. It's join the team, like literally join the team in this case. So you saw it in VS Code, but now you have it in a synchronous fashion. You could just assign an issue to Copilot, and Copilot goes ahead, reads the issues, kind of reasons through it, and then creates a draft pull request to resolve that. Sometimes it's a feature. Sometimes it's toil thing, a bug that you want fixed. Sometimes it might be things like, hey, I just want 3 different implementations of this with different libraries. Can you just create that for me, and then I'll play with that later on as well. So really, if you think about it, before, you and the IDE were a waiting room, right? Like your imagination in there, and you were in the zone, but nothing else was happening on the background of it. And now we're going to unleash that creativity to be multi-threaded, completely multi-threaded, all on top of GitHub.com. So pretty excited about that. Now, you saw Satya demo it, which is the first time that I've seen Satya demo Copilot agent mode. So he did an amazing job. But look, the demo is kind of simple. The beauty of this is that simplicity. I have some issues over here, right? You just go over here. You click on it. There you go. I'm not going to assign myself. Here's my peer programmer assigned to Copilot. And that's it. And Copilot now, it's going to start working on that one. Let's do another one. And then we'll go and check it out. So you can see you can have multiple assignees as well. So we'll do that as well. And it will pick it up as well. So that's it. That's all you had to do. And now Copilot is working on the background on this. Let's look at one that Eric was actually working on, which is this 19, which is add pet profiles. Now, as I look through it, it's a pretty good PRD overall. It has the business goals of what we're trying to achieve, the user stories. It goes into a lot of detail, so we got pretty involved in this one. We probably used Copilot to actually flush it out. You can see over here that Copilot has reacted. So whenever Copilot picks it up, it just gives you an eye and says, I'm looking into it. And then if we continue going down, it tells you here's the draft PR. So that's feature number 20. Look, you can see right here, Copilot already has 2 PRs, and they just automatically showed up in the board. So the typographic and the icon system already have 2 PRs. Now, let's go to number 20 and check out this PR and see what Copilot and Eric were up to. So I see the same thing, which is a little bit more information about what Copilot is going to be changing. And I'll go back. I see even this, which is a firewall rule block. That's kind of interesting. Well, maybe this is a great time for me to tell you, too, that, yes, we want all of these agents to be part of this SDLC, but we also need to secure it. And we want you to be confident. So we invested a lot on that, too. So there's 4 things that happened that, in my opinion, are critical. Number 1 is that you have full control of actually what, all of the workflows that Copilot ends up executing overall. So you have to enable it. It just doesn't happen by default. You have to enable it, and you have full control of it. Number 2, Copilot cannot commit to any branch. It actually creates a branch /Copilot, and then whatever the fix with some subfix on it. And those are the branches that it could actually commit to. So it's not having full commit rights across everything in your repo. Just imagine if something happens and it gets confused in reasoning step, or maybe a bad actor, what could happen in there? So we did a lot of work to make sure that happens. Number 3, which is what you're seeing here right now, is that it runs in actions, and we have these network rules. And we just don't let it access anything on the internet, because sometimes it hallucinates, and sometimes that hallucination might not be the side that you want Copilot going and learning and picking up knowledge from. So that's what you're seeing in there, is that we have these network rules overall. And then number 4 is that we have auditing events across everything for you to understand what happened and why. So perfect. And one of the key things that I see over here is this session. So let me tell you, let me click on that too, so you can see what Copilot does. In this case, this run took 9 minutes. And the first thing that Copilot does is just trying to get an understanding. We didn't actually give it any Copilot instructions or any hints in this case. We just, this is the repo, go ahead and do this. And what Copilot does first is trying to understand what that repo is all about. You can see here, I'll help implement the changes. Let me put a little bit more so you can read it. Let me examine the structure of it, check all of the items, the listing, the repositories, and then from there it starts actually creating the plan in this case, and then very soon it's going to start creating code. And then it goes back and forth on that, back and forth in creating the plan, updating the plan, and then creating that code as well. So I see that there's 2 sessions here, so I wonder why that happens. So let me go back over here. And if we scroll a little bit down, I see that Eric had asked us something. Oh, look at that cute cat baby. All right, let's go back. That's a pretty good picture, actually. It's a real pet in this case, too. So cutest. And here's 𝗦𝗲𝗀𝗀𝗀 as well. So it seems like Eric is saying, look, let's just make another adjustment. In the pet profile page, let's include 2 default pets because we had a way to manage, but we didn't include anything by default. So let's do that. I think that's a great idea. And that, right after this, we should see the next session by Copilot. So it took Eric 2 sessions to create this PR and get all that functionality in, which is a lot of changes. Like if we go back up into the PR, you can see that it changed 25 files, and then you can do a normal kind of review system that you do today. So what about we actually check this locally and try to see if it really happened? So here's pull request 20. And I see the PR and is on Copilot fix 19, as you can see here at the bottom. And I have already built the application, so you don't have to see me do that. So it's actually running in .NET with Aspire as the backend of that. So that's pretty nice. And we could just command here. And you can see the application if you have glasses on.
Aspire dashboard.
There you go. So there it is. So we could probably close that. And then what I did is I came over here and I just did an npm start on the app. And here it is in my localhost. So let's click on it and see what happens. So here's the app. That's perfect. And here are the pets. Let's click on it. And if it works, we're good. And it worked. There you go. So this is, again, 1 chat by Copilot, 2 sessions for me to actually steer it. It added a complete backend for me to be able to add new pets. And Eric, I could click on this, right? Yeah, there you go. So add new pets and be able to actually manage them as well. But I don't think I'm done. I think what I want to do is maybe show you one more thing. One thing that I forgot, actually, is that you could do this as well from any place Copilot Chat is available. And if we're missing 1 or 2, we'll get that kind of fixed. But you could go to VS Code as an example, and in VS Code say, create me a draft PR for X, Y, and Z in this repo. And it just does it. So again, if you are in the zone in something and a thought occurred to you, and you use one Copilot to get generating that code, you could do that seamlessly. But you could also do it from GitHub.com Copilot. In this case, I just said, using your new skill, create a draft PR in this repo that has a venue built-in feature, and let Copilot handle it. And you can see over here 2 references. It went in, did a small plan, and now I have Copilot working in that PR as well. So this is available to you from everywhere that conversational experience is there. So including mobile. So you can start coding from your phone. All right, so let's look at something else. It's the last thing. You just need one more water zip, and then we got it. So what we're going to do right now, let's open a new terminal really quick. I'm going to go get checkout main. All right, so we're there with main, and what I'm going to do here is I want you to list me all of the design and Figma issues in this repo. And what it should do is, for all of, OK, let's actually, and it failed. So now this is for real because it actually failed. And What probably happened is it got confused on the username that it used, and it did. It tried to use Mario Rod instead of using the actual repo name. So I need just to be a little bit more specific. So let me see. Let's do this since I don't want to type the whole thing again. And there you go. I finished. Sometimes you do have to go and force it a little bit. And here are my issues. And I see this issue number 17. Overall. So I'm going to go and give it and say, OK, for issue number 17, go ahead and use the Figma tool to implement that code. And let's see what happens. So we have partner, and thank you, a big shout out to the Figma team. They gave us some very early access to dev mode Figma MCP. And MCP is the Microsoft Model Context Protocol. We're in a Microsoft conference, so that's fine. So Model Context Protocol overall. So what it's going to do now, it kind of find that issue. And then it's supposed to, let me go so you could see the design that is amazing. So this is the new design that we have, right? It's really, really nice. It has all these items. And then I have these white shoes octopeds right here. And the white shoes octopeds has a new design, but we have the discover, the connect, and the rate reviews. Looks very different than what we currently have today. So we'll go back into that Visual Studio. It found that node, and it's going to start generating the code now. Now, we chose 4.1, so it should go really, really fast, as you see that. And then we got 2 more files to go. And then we'll start again the server with npm start, and then we should see it. And then I retire after that, OK? That's at least the plan.
So this is using the Model Context Protocol to both access the GitHub issues and to access the Figma.
Exactly. So what it did is it just went to that GitHub issue. That GitHub issue has a lot of detail, plus a link to a Figma. So we just told it, just implement issue number 17, found the link to the Figma. In there, then utilizes this new alpha release of dev mode MCP, connects to the Figma app in my client, and then gets all of the details, and then creates these components. Like these are components that didn't exist before. All right, so we're going to keep. And that's it. We're just going to YOLO this then. Let me see. No, don't do that. OK, so we're going to go CD front end then. And then we're going to go npm start. And if that fails, then let's say yes for right now. Let's see. OK, here we go. And then we're going to scroll down, OK? Time of truth. Before, remember what it looked like before. Before I do that, there it is.
There you go.
Discover, connect, and review. And so you can see that it's true. This is what it looked like before. Here's the home. And it looked like this. And then the design again. Thank you, Figma, for what you're doing. That's freaking amazing. All right.
Awesome.
Over to you now.
Thank you, Mario. Thank you. So now we have working code. Let me go to one. Let's see.
One.
Now we have working code. So round of applause for Mario and his Copilot crew. Thank you. So as Mario just showed you, our newest coding agent really levels up GitHub Copilot from a pair programmer that's working with you alongside you to a peer, a really full-fledged member of your team that you can assign tasks to, and it can complete them autonomously and asynchronously and then come back to you so that you can review them just like any other work that any of your teammates do. And that's kind of one of the more incredible things about all of this is it just plugs into your existing workflow that you're already using to collaborate with your team. So as of today, Coding Agent is now available in public preview. You guys can all go get it and try it on your own repos as well. You can even assign it tasks to do things like code reviews, writing tests, fixing bugs, or implementing full specs, as Mario just showed you, like new features. And with all of the built-in audit logs that Mario was talking about, and there's branch protections, every proposed change is reviewed by your team before it's actually merged. And because it's based on GitHub Actions infrastructure already, that gives you the confidence that you can really trust it to accelerate your team because you already have a lot of controls on your GitHub Actions infrastructure overall. Now, over the last couple of months, we've also rolled out GitHub Copilot's new agent mode to all VS Code users, which Mario was just showing you as he was invoking the Figma MCP and the GitHub MCP server. In agent mode, as you guys saw, Copilot will iterate on not just its own output, but also the result of that output until every task and subtask is actually completed, that the job is actually done. And last month, we got it supercharged with the support for MCP tools, which really takes that agent mode to a whole new level because every single day, there's a new provider in the dev ecosystem that's really introducing a new MCP server that actually makes Copilot more powerful. Now, let me show you a quick demo of this.
No, we actually, okay.
Yeah, and then we'll come back to that. Let me show you a quick demo of this. Let's see. Is it on my machine?
Not showing up.
There we are.
Almost there.
Okay, just need my face. So, as Mario showed you, now the team has iterated on it a little bit. And, we actually have the full kind of app actually implemented,
Looks nice,
right? Looks pretty good, huh? Those are some of my real pets there. So, you
How
guys
many cat people are in the audience? What about dogs?
Okay,
Ooh,
you
dogs
guys
coming.
all have to agree that my rabbit there, Milk, is officially the cutest animal that is on this. But actually, I think this is a great testimony to the fact that all of this AI and agentic capabilities in our coding tools, like these demos look a lot better and more fully featured than any other demos that you guys have ever seen us do at a previous developer conference, right? And that is actually a testimony to how powerful all of these tools are. But now I want you to imagine that I've just joined the team because maybe there's some quality issues, right? And I don't know anything about this app or what it's supposed to be doing. And I'm just hired as kind of validation and more quality assurance and kind of trying to improve the application overall. Now, what I'm going to do is actually come here and I'm going to show you basically a test prompt. And essentially what this is doing is this is an instruction set that is a prompt for Copilot to then go and inspect the site, try to understand what it should be testing for, and then it's going to use Playwright, which is a very common Microsoft-sponsored open source project that we work on to help you do web testing. It's going to use that MCP server to actually test this site. Now, this is literally the easiest demo I have ever done in my entire life. I've been in the industry for a couple decades now, and all I have to do in this case is I'm honestly almost embarrassed to show you.
I actually haven't seen you do this one yet.
Because it is stunning. I do one arrow key and enter, and then it's like 5 minutes of wow. So hopefully it works. This is our LLMs. These are all, it's always a lot of pressure.
You have the right model.
But all I'm going to do is say, browse the site and follow the prompt. Okay? And I'm going to hit enter here. And what it's going to do is it's actually going to go and look at the site. It's going to follow the prompt that suggests that I should be using Playwright as my test framework. And it's going to explore the site. And first, what it's going to do is to navigate to the website. And then it's going to basically bring up the website and actually show you it navigating on screen as it's exploring this website. I'm not doing anything here.
Look at that.
Amazing. So now it's actually going to go and explore deeper into the website and look at the detailed page. And this is actually by design. The listing is not found. So it actually finds that, that looks like some functionality that's really not working. Let's actually wait for that content to load. So it's going to give it a little bit of time because it may be something that's a problem on the back end. And maybe it's going to fix itself over time. But with enough time, it actually didn't load. So now we want to go and go back to the listing page. Maybe it was just a problem with that particular listing. Let's go click on a different listing. And so it'll click a different listing. This is honestly the easiest demo I've ever done. And then it's going to, it should in a second, try to filter it by the venue type to test some other functionality of the website. So it's really just exploring what's going on in the website to go make sure that it's actually covering it really well. Now, next it's going to look at the search capability. Now, one of the things that is a little bit interesting about doing these kinds of demos is it can go in different directions each time that I actually run this, because LLMs are non-deterministic. And so that's something that we all need to get used to as part of our development jobs, right? We run it a few times. If it doesn't do the thing that we want it to, then we give it a prompt. Now it's actually, you can see that it's actually it's explored all of the main features of the Octopets website. And what it's going to do now in the background is actually generate for me an actual test that is executing the functionality of the website. And then it's going to actually run it. Now it's going to see if it actually passes on the first run. Now for some reason it kind of keeps getting tripped up a little bit on PowerShell, and then it has to kind of like, you know, readjust its run. And it's going to rerun it. And then it's going to go ahead and work, right? So the test is now executing, and we've actually generated a test, okay? So now what I want to show you, I'm going to actually pause this because this will literally continue to go for 10, 20 minutes as it explores all the different capabilities that are in this particular website. But what I'm going to do now is I'm going to move over to just the playwright test report of something that I had previously run, just to show you kind of what it will ultimately generate. Now, this is just what happens as a course of running any kind of playwright test. And what's cool about this is that I can actually go and see screenshots of what it navigated. But even further, I can go to the trace. I clicked on the wrong button. And I can go and see every second of what that test actually executed for every test that is run, right? Now, I literally, other than that test prompt that we initially wrote that really is undifferentiated per each website, I literally just had to pass in that prompt, and it basically started testing the entirety of the website. So I think that's pretty cool, right? All right, so agent mode, which is what I was really using there, has been available in VS Code for a few months now. And the latest release of Visual Studio, which I think went out last week, brought it to Visual Studio as well. And both of them have support for MCP. And as of today, agent mode is also available for preview in JetBrains IDEs, Eclipse, and Xcode, basically anywhere that Copilot is available. Mario.
And we've also been integrating GitHub Copilot across the tools and services and systems you rely on. I still remember at Universe, we brought the Perplexity CEO on stage, and we have been announcing more and more partnerships overall. Clearly, this MCP ecosystem is going to unlock more and more that we could do. So I'm really excited about it in continuing to grow on it. We ourselves now have an official one from a local MCP, and we're working right now on a remote one as well. So I should be very excited. So in my opinion, just Copilot, if you think about it, we have these models that have intelligence. And these models with intelligence are going to get better and better. What's the next thing that they miss? Context and knowledge. MCP is what is going to connect all that context and knowledge. And it's just going to get smarter and smarter and smarter and be able to do things not possible before. So really jumping into this ecosystem, I think it's going to be amazing for us as developers over the next decade.
Yeah, for sure. So we all know that your work really doesn't stop at coding and testing and then even deployment. So we've also applied the idea of agentic DevOps to the full development lifecycle, and we're bringing it to Azure as well. So we spent a lot of time listening to SREs and really training our own SREs that are running Azure services so that we can understand the pressure that they're under. Their mission is really clear. Their focus is always about reducing the downtime of the sites that they work on and the services that they work on and improving the mean time to remediation. Yep. And they're really asking for less toil, fewer 2 a.m. wake-up calls, more time to focus on meaningful engineering that really improves their overall quality of their site. So where can AI make the biggest difference? In detecting misconfigurations, in identifying root causes, in spotting failures early, and suggesting ways to strengthen reliability. So as cloud apps grow more complex, keeping them healthy really gets harder. The new SRE agent that we're introducing today will help you with a full view of your app's topology, and you can use that context to then get, and the expertise of our own SREs inside of Microsoft that run all of our Azure services. We've kind of codified that into this agentic workflow so that you can automate all of the key tasks that you typically have to do as a site reliability engineer. So it can optimize configs, it can assess the app's health, it can trigger recovery actions automatically, and that means that you end up with more reliable systems and a lot less manual toil. So I'm going to welcome 𝗦𝗽𝗲𝗀𝗶�cie to come and show you this. All right, Den.
Here for them.
Are we two?
Thank you. All right. So maybe there are people here that actually enjoy 2 a.m. calls.
This one? Two?
Yeah, it's 2.
Okay, there you go.
Perfect. I don't know. Is there anybody here who likes waking up at 2 a.m. to recover a website?
Depends. Oh,
It depends.
yeah.
I don't know.
I was going to say
Yeah.
it depends on who's calling, but
Yeah, well, so we have our beautiful landing page. We have our website here that is running in Azure. It runs on top of Azure Container Apps. It's powered by .NET Aspire, our favorite, of course. And one of the things that we noticed when Amanda was doing her demo was that there was an error when one of the listings was being rendered, which is not ideal. But I wonder if we go to our GitHub repository and see if one of our engineers already opened an issue for it. It's been a couple of minutes. So I just popped the repository open and look at that. There's issues here, and they're just like, just recently. Let me just update this, make sure that we have the latest version. But yeah, we have them. Let's take a peek here. It says I'm the one opening, but I swear I was backstage. I was not actually touching the keyboard. It's actually opened by the SRE agent, and it did identify an issue that we had with our API. And it looks like there is some stack trace information here. There is an example of the chain. And also, there is a magic link here that takes us to the SRE agent, which is super, super helpful. Because normally, when you're asleep, you're not going to be looking at stack traces.
Yeah.
But this gets it for you right in the GitHub issue. So for this, if we go directly to the SRE agent here, into the alert itself, let me just scroll up all the way to the top. So we have a new blade in the Azure portal that shows you the SRE agent. And it looks like a very conversational interface. If you use GitHub Copilot or any other LLMs, it is basically that integrated in Azure portal. And we can see that there's an Azure Monitor alert that was actually detected, which is great.
Yep.
We set it up to trigger when there's 500 errors. And there was a 500 error with our API. So we're going to scroll down. And notice that, again, I'm completely hands-off. The SRE agent itself acknowledged there was an alert, so it acknowledged the incident. Think about it like how many of you were designated responsible individuals for any outages, and how much time it takes to like just jump in and start diagnosing things and looking at traces, and it's complicated.
And it's stressful.
It's stressful, and especially if you don't have enough coffee.
Yeah.
So notice that also the agent started doing the investigation by itself. So it's not just that it looked and said, oh, there's an incident, go and do something about it. It actually started looking at different metrics. We can see that the Octopet's API container app and our resource group triggered a SEB0 alert, which means all hands on deck, usually. But notice also that not only did it investigate it, but also it started establishing hypotheses. It started to reason about what are the things that could be causing this, and assigning it a confidence score so that it can go through the changes and see what exactly might be happening. So again, we see different options here. Like it's going to analyze activity logs. Here previously we saw the resource health. And through this conversation, you see that it starts going through kind of the root cause process and says, oh, great, I finished the initial investigation. And then it started analyzing further and the memory utilization patterns. It found that it's a .NET app. It started doing like basically a memory dump and finding out what exactly it's causing. And it looks like we have a very We need to talk to our engineers.
Yeah, I don't
that's
know
a very inconspicuous operation. I don't know why we have that. It's a really expensive
I
operation.
do that all the time.
Yeah, I know. That's how I name it. But looks like this is what's causing the problem, and it actually summarized it for us. So like, okay, like we have all these things. So it went by kind of the process. It gave us a very good breakdown by garbage collector routes by size, so we can see what takes the most, and it looks like we are allocating a whole bunch of bytes.
And it's doing all of this autonomously.
All of this autonomously.
While you are potentially asleep.
You're asleep.
Yeah.
And what's great about this is that one of the things that the agent is doing, it not only investigates this, but once it spots that there's an issue, it auto-scales your resources. So that when you get that alert that something happened, it realizes that, oh, I have, your container is 1 gig of memory. My application requires 2. Let me scale that up. And that way, you're not doing anything at all. Your site is up. It doesn't actually mitigate the underlying code issue. It doesn't remove any of the code. It doesn't redeploy anything. But it allows you to come back in the morning and actually see the issue. And as I said, the issue is in GitHub. And notice that the agent actually posted this in my GitHub issue. It said immediate mitigation, auto-scale to 2 gigs of memory and 3 replicas automatically. This is fantastic. It saves me a lot of time and headache, for sure. But the beauty of the flow and what you saw Mario demo with the coding agent is that actually the mitigation can also be better together. So it's not just the SRE agent. We also plug in the GitHub agent. So what I can do here is I can just click assignees and select Copilot, and just let Copilot go and mitigate the issue for me. And it might take some time, so we're just going to refresh here. And you'll notice that there's going to be a pull request that Copilot is going to start working on.
That's pretty fast.
It's pretty fast. It kicked it on right there. It has the context of the issue. It has the stack trace, so now it can go through this. So we're not going to wait for this to actually finish. I have a pull request here that Copilot previously worked on that shows you how this works. So we have Copilot investigating this, a really expensive operation. We really need to change the naming of this.
Yeah,
this
it sounds very expensive.
Yeah, this sounds very
Make it
expensive.
less expensive.
But it actually did.
Did it just rename the function?
It did not.
Because that would be an interesting
That would be a good fix. Yeah, I know. It's a really cheap operation now. So as you can see, Copilot went in and actually made the changes and summarized the solution and actually put together a pretty, I'd say a pretty decent fix for this. Like it's not, it's not perfect, but it's there. It's now a less expensive operation. The important part here too is that not only, like when you interact with Copilot, it's not that you just tell it the instruction and then you expect to be like, all right, I'm done. You can actually guide it. So I realized when I asked Copilot to do this thing that, you know what, this really expensive operation, we should probably only run it in dev mode and not in production. So what do we do for that? So I actually asked Copilot, it's like, let's make sure that the function is only called in development and never in production. And it did. It did change that. Like if we look at the exact commit, you can notice here that all of a sudden it added this option that says, oh, sure, yeah, we'll only trigger this when in development to simulate the memory load, just like that. So you can see that this end-to-end story with Copilot, coding agent, and the SRE agent makes your life that much easier.
Yeah.
And you don't need to wake up at 2 a.m.
It's amazing how all of these different systems are integrating together. You still are in control. You're still supervising it. And you are still required to do that higher level systems thinking to understand how your system is really carrying together. So yeah, this is super awesome, Den. Thank you. So the SRE agent should let us all sleep a little bit more at night. It's obviously a huge step forward. It's going to accelerate your incident response. It's going to reduce the manual effort. It's going to streamline your operations and reduce the time to remediation. But it's not just about better reliability. It's also about, if you think about it, dramatically lowering the cost of operating modern cloud services. And we're really excited to announce that the Azure SRE agent is available for preview starting today. You can all get it. But we do recognize that not all of you are running all of your workloads in Azure. And that's why we've partnered with New Relic to bring performance insights into the same developer workflow. So a pull request in GitHub triggers your CI/CD pipeline. A performance regression is then detected by New Relic. And it then automatically goes and opens an issue in GitHub. And then automatically, the GitHub coding agent can go and pick it up and start working on it on a fix that you can then go and review. And just like that, the system then gets on its way back into a healthy state. as you can see here. So that's pretty great. All right, so we talked about running your apps. Now let's talk about everything that every developer hates. The only thing that people hate more than a 2 a.m. wake-up call is getting assigned a task that's tech debt, right? It's like, you now need to do a 6-month refactoring job. Thanks, boss. But shipping to production, it's not the finish line, and really we want to make sure that legacy code doesn't slow you down. So we're expanding the capabilities in GitHub Copilot to accelerate app modernization with tools that will help you assess your code, update all of your dependencies, generate the upgrade plans, and execute them in agent mode with your supervision. So whether you're working on .NET or you're working on Java, GitHub Copilot can really help you escape the pit of technical debt so that you can move to Azure faster and you can get back to building cool stuff. So Den, you want to show them that too?
Totally.
All right, let's go.
Let's talk about modernization. So this is one of those things that I'm going to actually go into my dev box here. You noticed that, let's see, I'm going to switch actually to my machine. I'm in a dev box, as you see from the top bar, because we're all cloud-based now. We got to make sure that we're running machines in the cloud. And I have a application here because Octopets is growing. I hear we got funding.
Yes,
that means we have money to buy other startups. And we bought a new treat company that's called Octopet Treats now. So it so happened that this company came in and they brought a .NET 6 application with a WPF app.
Womp womp.
Womp womp. Not exactly fun. But that's OK, because looking at the code, we're like, well, OK, well, we need to fix some dependencies. There are some security vulnerabilities probably in the packages that they have.
Yep.
And maybe even they're using some really bad code patterns, which is not good. So let's see what we can do.
Let's bring it forward.
Let's bring it forward. Let's bring it forward to .NET 9. And for this, I'm going to use GitHub Copilot here. So we're going to open the chat window. And we're going to make sure that we bootstrap a new chat. We're using agent mode in Visual Studio. Again, an awesome, awesome feature. We're going to select.
It just recently shipped, actually.
Just recently shipped.
14, so.
We're going to select the .NET upgrade tool here. And
Which is available today.
Available today.
Yeah.
And then we're just going to ask, upgrade this solution to .NET 9. All right. And let's see.
You guys think this is going to work? OK, you know it's going to work because this is a demo, but do you really think it's going to work? How many of you say yes? How many of you say no? Yeah?
If it doesn't work, I'll dance on
You guys,
stage.
we don't know. This is LLM world. It may or may not work.
It takes a couple of experiments, but I'm surprised how little faith folks have in our demo. What is this? But you can see that our agent starts analyzing the project. It looks inside all the files that we have. It knows that we're targeting .NET 9, so it's just going over and over through the content to kind of assess what it is.
Okay.
Looks like ISO binary formatter. That's pretty bad. We have
Can you
binary.
zoom in a little?
I don't know if I can in the Copilot. Can I?
No, maybe you
Yeah.
can.
Control plus it, maybe. Or,
Okay.
So as you can see, it goes through the files. It goes through the pet treat manager. It's going to go through all the tests that are available as well to make sure that it upgrades the test to the latest framework. I should have brought my coffee. Just need some elevator music while it waits. For different tasks, it can take some time. So don't worry, we're not going to wait for the whole upgrade process to complete. But it actually reasons through this. And notice that it actually starts going through the process of OK, I found that there's some tests that I need to upgrade. And it starts making those changes, which is really, really convenient. But this can take some time. So it's going to upgrade all the packages, going to do all the fancy work for this. So we're going to minimize this for now. And we're going to look inside our GitHub desktop client. And I'm going to show you the latest commit here that shows you what a completed upgrade looks like. So notice that it actually had the upgrade plan put together. It has the summary, and I'm going to switch right back. It has the report that shows you exactly what it upgraded and what are the packages and what are the versions that it changed. It actually fixed some serialization and deserialization issues with the pet treat manager. Look at that. Binary formatter, gone. It's now JSON serializer.
There you go.
Amazing.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it did it all for me. I never had to do anything about it, rewrite it, test it. It rewrote everything. It updated the tests. It just did it for me.
This
Saved
could
me
have
a lot of
easily
time.
taken you weeks,
Oh,
depending
yeah.
on where it
And think
is.
about it also the dependencies, right?
Yep.
All the packages that you start upgrading, and then you realize oh, this package depends on this other thing. Let me now upgrade, and then it breaks, and then you have to go from scratch. And this solves all of that. So now we have a .NET 9 application. I'm going to fast forward here to a new instance of Visual Studio. And we have this Octopet Treats app that is .NET 9, and we can see this from the CS proj. We see .NET 9, so it runs on the modern stack. But you know what? I think we should modernize this even further.
Let's go.
What's missing? What is missing? .NET Aspire is missing. You know what? So for this MVC pet treats, we're going to right-click, add, and we're going to choose .NET Aspire Orchestrator Support. We're going to use the default path. We're going to click OK. This is great. It's going to bootstrap the project for us. And what we're also going to do here is, because this uses 9.0, I believe, we're just going to upgrade this. And by the way, .NET Aspire 9.3 launched just this morning.
Yeah.
So
awesome.
this is great. We can get this upgraded right here.
With an MCP server as well.
Yeah.
That's pretty,
That's exciting.
pretty awesome. Yeah.
So there's one more thing that I want to add here to this application, and that is our Treats app uses a database. It uses a local SQL DB. Can we throw this in the cloud? And normally, I'd say, like, if I have to containerize it, I have to write a whole bunch of Docker files and just headache over headache. It's super complex. Let's instead use Aspire. Aspire Azure SQL. So we're going to do this. Aspire hosting Azure SQL. Let's download this. Accept the conditions.
Almost there.
Almost there. And we have program.cs. So what we're going to do here, this is going to be magic. 2 lines of code. So we're going to do var SQL DB equals builder.add Azure SQL server. I'm going to call the resource SQL. Then run as container, and then add database. And because I'm super creative with names, I'm just going to call this SQL server. Very, very unique. And here, we're going to add with reference, and then SQL DB. That's it. That's all it takes for me to set up the SQL database, my local DB, to run in a container in the cloud. And then it's an easy app. So what I can do is run this locally first, right? Don't worry, we're not going to show you the full Azure deployment because it can take a little bit of time. But I'm going to run this and see if we get the Aspire dashboard up on the screen. It's building. 2. It's there. Fingers crossed, Docker actually works locally. Let's do it. It's launching. That's encouraging. It's almost there. All right, so the Aspire dashboard looks to be provisioned. It's going to pop the browser open for me now. Now, it's going to be unhealthy here for a second while the container boots itself up. And we'll notice that this is a, let's see, let me zoom in a little bit. This is the SQL Server image for 2022. Again, it runs locally right now in the container. We can also see that it actually did containerize it. It's not. Awesome. I'm not running just a separate web app.
There it is, first green.
First green. We're waiting for the second one. It's just any second now.
I know they trust us to be green. I know it's going to happen.
It is. There we go.
There you
now
go.
we're on 3 greens. So containerized. And if I go to this URL here, boom.
Woo!
It's loading from the containerized database. And all I need to do now is an AZD up, and it runs in the cloud.
That's awesome.
Just like that.
Thank you. Dan, Octopets, it's growing. I hear you guys really, I have an amazing investment for you.
100 million ARR.
Thank you, guys. So GitHub Copilot for app modernization, it really brings you everything that you need to streamline your workflow as you're upgrading your applications, from the code fixes that you need to make, to the config changes, to the testing and the validation. And starting today, it's available in public preview. Ford China is one customer that we've been working with, and they've already been using it to upgrade their Java applications. So we showed you the .NET version. We also have a version for Java and VS Code. And they are telling us that it improves their costs of upgrading by up to 70%. So significant, significant savings in terms of applying it to this use case. Go ahead, Mario.
Yes,
Take us home.
I think, yeah, we're going to leave you with this one. It's only, I think, 1 minute left. But hopefully you saw the power of everything we're building, right? Those creation tools, the app modernization, MCP servers, all the way to the collaboration with GitHub issues and PRs, a Copilot coding agent, and then going all the way into the app layer as well. Then we're putting that agentic knowledge on it and connecting Copilot, all the intelligence in Copilot with it. It's an amazing time to be a developer. It's an amazing time to be alive. And we cannot wait to see what you build. So go and do it. Yeah. Thank you so much for everything. Hand it to Amanda and Dan for Grace.
Yeah. Check out these sessions and check out Nicole and Jean's book signing as well.
Yes.
Thank you all.
Thank you.